back to the channel. Drew here from Lone Fox, and today I have a fun DIY crafty video for you, which I'm so ready for because we have not had a DIY video on the channel in a bit. And this one's Christmas related. We are going to be making some really easy, affordable, budget-friendly, but super cute holiday crafts. You can do your own designs, your own prints, and you can really interpret them for your own holiday decor and style, which is fun. And of course, all of the tools and supplies for all the projects that I share in this video are going to be linked below, and we do have a lot to get into today, so I don't want to do too much in this intro. However, if you are watching today or this weekend when this video goes up, definitely check out our Black Friday sale over on Lone Fox. It ends on Monday, on Cyber Monday, which I'll put the date somewhere up here. So this is our last day of our Black Friday sale. We are offering 25% off site-wide, so on everything ranging from vintage furniture, decor, contemporary items, kitchen goods, glassware, art prints, and of course the entire holiday shop is also 25% off. If you just want to buy your decor that's already curated for you, it's pretty, it's ready to go. You can pop it on your tree, you can style it in your home. Definitely check out our site because all of our holiday decor is also a part of the 25% off sale, which is great, and also orders over 99 ship for free, which is incredible. So make sure to take advantage of that link at the top of the description box below. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump on into these crafts. There are 4 of them today, and all 4 of them honestly are bangers. You're going to love them. So let's dive into our first. Jumping on into our first project, here's the inspo that I actually found on Pinterest. I was scrolling and saw this garland and figured we can totally create a similar one using some ribbon and these macrame rings. It's actually a super affordable project, and it's also extremely easy. So I basically took my ribbon to start and I cut it to 28-inch lengths, and you can totally cut it to whatever length you want to. I just found 28 inches once it was tied on and everything, gave about a 12-inch, 13-inch tail for your ribbon, which I think looked nice. So I cut a bunch of pieces to 28 inches. And now comes the fun part where we're going to be attaching all of our ribbons to our macrame rings to create the garland. And the thing I love about this garland is that it really can go on a Christmas tree. It could stand alone. It is actually very impactful for how easy and how cost effective it is. So all I'm going to be doing is tying together 2 of the macrame rings using our ribbon, and you're just going to want the knot to live in the exact center. I'm doing a double knot here, and I'm actually doing a square knot, which is right over left and then left over right. So if you see here, I'm going to slip my ribbon through, and then I'm actually going to take my ribbon and go right over left. That was that. And then I'm gonna go left over right for my next one. It's just gonna ensure you have a nice, good, tight knot on there. And I'm sure you could imagine the process from here on out is very repetitive. You're just gonna continue this until you have as much garland as you like. And I just swapped the colors of my ribbon and I just followed a pattern. I thought it looked really nice. And I also love getting ribbons that kind of feel tonal together because it creates this really beautiful, almost more luxe feeling look. And the front of it actually looks like this. So it's really clean and pretty on the front because the knots are actually gonna live on the back side of your garland once you hang it. And then all of the ribbon tails are just going to be falling down and creating a nice bit of texture, color, and the satin ribbon too adds a nice shine. So that is how I finish off this garland. Once you're all done, you can go ahead and hang your garland up, and you can layer this into other garlands or just use it as is. I just love the effect that it gives. For our next project, we are going to be using these clear plastic ornament blanks that I got on Amazon. They're super affordable. I'll link them below for you guys, but they have a little like silver attachment on the top, which you're going to want to pop out because we are going to be making some papier-mâché style ornaments. And I have seen multiple different ways to do this, but I actually came up with my own method that I quite like. So I'm going to be using some Mod Podge and also just some paper napkins. These are printed dinner napkins. This blue one here is so stunning. It's a William and Morris pattern. I got all of these on Amazon, so I'll link the ones below for you guys that I used in this video. But as you can see here, I placed my ornament on top of the napkin, and I kind of am creating a teardrop shape. You're gonna basically need 4 of these teardrop shapes to cover one ornament. So you're gonna wanna make sure that when you place your ornament on top and cut it out, that you're cutting your diamond shape as tall as you need it, and also just make it wider than you think, because if they overlap on the edges, that's totally fine. So here's one of our teardrop shapes. I'm just placing it right on top of some Mod Podge that I put right over the top of the plastic ornament. And something I will say too is you can totally give these ornaments a coat of white spray paint if you want the pattern to show up more opaque. This is my first time doing this, and I was kind of just trying it out, trial and erroring it, and I noticed that the dinner napkins are a little thin, so when you do Mod Podge them on, you actually can see a little light through them, which is not bad, but if you did want more of a deeper, rich, opaque pattern and color, you can just give these a coat of white spray paint first and then go in with the same exact method. So I'm applying my teardrop shapes on and then adding more Mod Podge over the top using a paintbrush that you would normally use for the wall. I feel like using a very dense, thick brush is really nice for this because it allows you to press down the paper material really flat to the ornament, and then you can really get the Mod Podge into all the cracks and crevices. So I wouldn't suggest using like a little chintzy like paintbrush or something. Definitely use like a household paintbrush for this project. And I wanted to share with you how I cut these out once more. So I just place my ornament on top whilst holding the napkin, and I kind of do a rough cut to basically create the length of the teardrop and also the width, and then I follow that same exact projection and length on the other side, or I try my best to. If it does not match up perfectly, that's totally fine because these will slightly overlap, and you can also use more than 4. I just felt like if I can get away with only using 4 on the ornament, that would be the easiest and the quickest method to do so. So I just went in, placed again my first one. I'm sharing with you guys how I'm doing this again. Placed my first one, tapped it around all of the edges, and then brought in my paintbrush that has Mod Podge on top of it just to secure down those sides. So you're gonna press down the sides, and the dinner napkin's really malleable. Once it gets the Mod Podge on it too, it gets even softer. So I'm adding on a next layer of Mod Podge here and then overlapping my diamond shape just a tad bit, just so that there's no seam in between our 2 layers. So as you can see here, the shape of the diamond really makes it nice for wrapping around a circle, which is what I found to be the easiest. I've seen some people do like strips that they cut or different methods for applying this, but I just found that this shape seemed to work the best for me, so that's the way I opted for. Here I'm adding in my third, and then as you can see here, here's the 4th one, which is gonna finish up that last section. And then once this fully dries down, and I feel like you can also tell when I set this onto my little drying rack that I have, they are the tiniest bit translucent. So again, what you can do is just a coat of white spray paint on the underside and then do the same exact process. But to finish up these ornaments, I just wanted to go ahead and antique the little top portions of them so they felt a little bit more special. So I used some burnished amber spray paint and I sprayed those so they had this kind of darkened feel, and then went in with some gold rub and buff just on some of the high points to bring out a little bit of a gold tone. And I popped these back on my ornaments, and that is how I finished them off. I will say I didn't get the best final clips of these. I was running out the door, but I think you guys get the idea of how cute these are, and they're totally universal, and you can create whatever design or style you like, which I love. So it's completely customizable. Project 3 is a super easy one, so if you can use hot glue, you can totally do this, and I feel like it's also very impactful. So I'm starting off with a natural grapevine wreath base, and then I'm using some dried oranges. You can totally dry these out yourself, which I've done in the past multiple times, but I found these on Amazon, and these are blood oranges that are dried out, so they have a little bit more of a red tone to them, and I thought they would just be so fun and easy to just use for this project. So I ordered 2 packs of them, and I started using my hot glue gun to start gluing on my orange slices. And the tip and trick for this one is just to kind of create a really sculptural look. You're not going to want to only glue your oranges directly on the wreath base. You're also going to want to layer them on top of each other, have them pop out a little bit, and I wanted to create more of a heavy side, so I kind of focused my oranges on the left side of the wreath, and I glued them and layered them, and also just kind of created a very dramatic effect with the oranges before I went in with my ribbon. So I wanted to just kind of place as many as I could, and you can maneuver this around. It's total trial and error. There's no rhyme or reason to this at all, but I just love and have always wanted an orange slice wreath. I think they're so classic and can live throughout Thanksgiving and Christmas time too, so I'm just gluing on all the different orange pieces I want, and as you can see, I'm layering some up. I think what's really great about this is creating more of a sculptural feel, where it almost feels like the oranges are floating or kind of like levitating in a sense. I feel like that adds whimsy to the piece. So I'm going in with a bit of a thin velvet ribbon that I tied into a bow, and I love leaving my ribbon tails really long, as you guys know, so I'm gonna add a couple different ribbon sections and bows and just tuck them in so they're kind of hidden by the orange slices, so it looks like the ribbons just kind of cascading out of the wreath itself. And then I'm also adding one in the top here. I love the natural little pops of the green leaves in the wreath base itself. I just think this wreath is so cute and so easy. I made this in under 20 minutes. So if you want a fast and easy holiday project, I feel like this is the one for you. And I hung it on my front door. I just cannot wait for people to start coming by and noticing it, because it really is a cute wreath. And I popped a little satin bow on the front just for a bit of texture and difference. And here's how it's looking. Of course, I had to save my favorite project for last, and believe it or not, this was one that I really didn't even plan. It kind of just came together as I was filming, and I love how it looks. So I ended up using some foam cones, some little wood coasters, and some sticks along with some ribbon. You're gonna see how it all comes together in a second here. So this is a ribbon that I got. I'll link below the exact one because I really think it creates a beautiful look. And then the foam cones as well, I'll also link for you guys. These are gonna be the kind of base shape for our Christmas tree, and what I'm gonna be doing is creating these really pretty pleated velvet ribbon Christmas trees. And at first I was planning on just wrapping the ribbon around, like not pleating it at all. But as I started kind of pleating it, this was just out of instinct. I was like, oh, let me start pleating the fabric or the ribbon. You're just gonna create little puckers. And as you can see here, just kind of place it down, create another pucker. This one kind of lifted up there because hot glue was hot. But you're gonna wanna create little puckers and then just kind of place down your ribbon and attach it to the hot glue. And I just work in about 4 or 5 inch sections. As you can see here is the first whole row. I'm gonna bring my hot glue up and also my ribbon up. I'm not gonna cut it each row. I'm gonna keep it a continuous strand. That way there's no fraying or anything, and you're just gonna pop your ribbon up like this to the next row, pleating it along the way, and then adding a little bit more hot glue around and working your way around. And basically each time you add a new row, you're gonna want the bottom of the ribbon to cover up the top of the pleats you created before. So you're gonna want to glue this not super close to the row below it, but also not super far away because you're gonna want it to kind of layer on top of each other. And that's what's going to start creating a really stunning pleated look. So as you work your way up the actual Christmas tree, the layers of the velvet are gonna layer over top of each other. And then when you get to the very top, I just went ahead and kind of smushed my ribbon together into a point, added a little bit of hot glue, trimmed off the extra, and that was the base of my tree. Now I also want to create a little stand for it. So I'm gonna be gluing together 3 of these wood slice coasters, just using my hot glue, and this is gonna be a nice little wooden stand. And then I'm using a drill just to drill a hole in the middle of our wood slice coaster stand because we're gonna be using one of those sticks, which is funny because I literally purchased those on Amazon when you can go outside and grab a stick if you want to, but I just felt like it was easier for the project. They're all straight, they're nice and clean. So I ended up using the little sticks that I got, which I'll link for you guys too if you wanna grab them as well, because I did make a bunch of these. I think I ended up making about 8 of these trees. I love them so much. They are so cute. And I just popped my little stand into the underside of the foam tree, and then I glued it in to finish it off. But that is how I created this little pleated velvet fabric tree, and I love these. They're so cute. Again, I didn't get great clips of this, but I'll share some photos. And that, my friends, concludes today's holiday DIY video. I hope that you enjoyed these projects, and I'd love to know which of these 4 projects was your favorite. So let me know in the comment section below. Without keeping you here for much longer, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had an incredible, incredible Thanksgiving, and I will catch you guys back in my next one. Bye, guys.